Dub Nation, the February 8th trade deadline is slowly approaching. So if you want the Golden State Warriors to make a trade before that deadline happens, all you guys have to do is like this video. What's going on, Dub Nation? I'm your host of Warriors Today by Chat Sports, Allie Barefoot. Two hot topics to discuss on today's show because there have been some reports come out about why the Pascal Siakam trade to Golden State Warriors ultimately failed. And then on the second half of the show, I do want to talk about three trade targets. Some do have reports saying that there is mutual interest for the Golden State Warriors and their respective teams. And other ones are recent trade targets that could be a beneficial factor for Golden State Warriors. First and foremost, Pascal Siakam. Let's go ahead and break down what Sam had to say from The Athletic on Siakam trade, saying the Golden State Warriors were interested in Pascal Siakam, who wouldn't be, but he wasn't as excited about signing for anything past this NBA season with them. First off, ouch. That does not make the Golden State Warriors feel good, just in the sense that Siakam didn't really want to play with them this year, but certainly did not want to play with the Golden State Warriors anywhere in the near future. And I have a few reasons why, partially because Steve Kerr and Dunleavy don't really know where this future's heading. They don't know where Klay Thompson's going to be, where Draymond Green is going to retire or not retire, where Steph Curry's head at, and most importantly, where the younger guys are going to go. So I don't necessarily blame Pascal Siakam, but I do know that Golden State Warriors, when they tried to make this trade with Pascal Siakam, they did want to keep both Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, which is kind of making me lean a little bit more towards Dunleavy is kind of riding with the younger guys a little bit, just because the older core right now isn't providing a lot of leverage for Dub Nation. So that does give me a little bit of hope that maybe Dunleavy is looking to rebuild around Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and the younger guys. Well, ultimately, Pascal Siakam did go to the Indiana Pacers, which does make them a pretty lethal threat in the Eastern Conference. This was the trade details that went down a couple days ago. Siakam did go to the Pacers with a second-round pick, and they got Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, 3 first-round picks, which is bananas, and they got Lewis Jr. as well. So overall, I do think that the Raptors kind of dominated this trade. I think they have a lot of assets they can either keep or give away, but they're making some serious trade talk. So we're going to talk about possibly talking with the Raptors later in this show. Because honestly, guys, the clock is ticking. The Warriors are looking for an all-star to come into the Warriors organization right now to pair up with Steph Curry. He needs a secondary scorer. And with the Pascal Siakam thing not wanting to come to the Golden State Warriors this season or any other season, well, it might be pretty slim picking for the Warriors if nobody wants to come play for him, especially somebody that is an all-star level talent. Nonetheless, go ahead and comment down below. Name a player you guys want to see the Warriors trade for. The deadline is February 8th. I would personally rather have a younger guy, a superstar in the making kind of thing, but I know there are a lot of big names out there, and they could be on the trade block coming up soon. So go ahead and comment that down below. And then like I told you guys, I'm going to talk about 3 trade targets who have increased reports about possibly coming to the Golden State Warriors. So you're going to want to stick around for that because that last name might surprise you with this new trade that just happened. But first, let's talk about PrizePicks, a very, very great sponsor here to Warriors Today. Why? Because it's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America, and I love playing PrizePicks to the point where I had to put myself in a little bit of a budget because I was getting a little bit addicted here. But nonetheless, here's why you guys should play it. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. This right now, in my opinion, is one of the best times to play PrizePicks because there is so much at stake, including NFL playoff time. So there are a lot of games going on this weekend, so I do have Christian McCaffrey having more than 92.5 rushing yards, Zay Flowers to show up for the Ravens having more than 51.5 receiving yards, and then I do like the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown having more than 93.5 receiving yards because I love NFL playoff times. But even if you're not that big into NFL, don't worry. They have numerous other sports categories you could pick from as well. All you guys have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Be sure to use that promo code CLNS for a first time deposit match up to $100. One more time, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Let's talk about what the Warriors do need. I've read your comments. I understand a true big is definitely something that's on that checklist, But the good news is that Warriors are looking at viable front court options. Hallelujah! Thank goodness they're hearing what we need and they're trying to address it. Let's just go straight into this list that I put together. The number one that comes off top of my head of the better front court options in terms of who's available in the trade target, you got to look at Kyle Kuzma. We already know the Warriors and the Wizards have had some trades go on in the offseason with Jordan Poole, so I assume Dunleavy is pretty comfortable with trading with the Wizards right now. Kyle Kuzma's a secondary scorer the Warriors need right now. He's averaging over 20 points per game. While the Wizards really have nothing to play for this season, he can come to the Warriors and immediately make an impact. And the good news is the Warriors want Kyle Kuzma, but so do some other teams. As we do see the Memphis Grizzlies, San Antonio Spurs, and the Golden State Warriors are among those who could have an interest in Kyle Kuzma. Now, if I am Kyle Kuzma, I'm taking the Warriors out of these three teams. The Grizzlies are going downhill, no Ja Morant. The Spurs really don't have anybody other than Wemby, so I would rather go pair up with Steph Curry and give them something to play. And what's even better, the Washington Wizards are really only interested in first-round picks, and I don't blame them. They're looking to rebuild, just like the Warriors may have to at some point when they decide to blow it up. And the better news is the Warriors have plenty of first-round picks to get. Matter of fact, they're set for the next 5 years. So if they had to make a trade for Kyle Kuzma, it's going to include probably that 2026 first-round pick. They do have a lot of second-round picks. Most of them are protected by other teams, but I made this list just to be like, look, if the Wizards want picks, we got picks. So what a trade would look like for Kyle Kuzma, which I have proposed this before, and a lot of Warriors fans did like this, but I did adjust it and include it. Just one first-round pick. They may have to include more, depending on what the Wizards do want, because these salaries are perfect. And guess what? The Warriors want to get rid of Wiggins. There's your answer, Dunleavy. You get Kyle Kuzma, you give up Wiggins, you give up maybe another draft pick on top of the 2026 one, and you call it a done deal. You move on, and you start winning some freaking ball games. If you guys don't like Kyle Kuzma, let's talk about Jerami Grant. I think this is a trade target that a lot of people have been sleeping on recently, mainly when the Pascal Siakam trade has now gone away. He's now with the Pacers. Jerami Grant is a player that just really stands out to me, and look, he's one of those guys that multiple teams have had interest in, and he's fully aware of it. He's been having a very good season this year, and when he was asked, how do you feel about these trade rumors? He said, you definitely see it, but it's not anything in my control. I'm cool here. I keep my head down and keep working, keep trying to help the young guys as much as I can. It's not something you can do anything about, especially since I just signed a deal. I'm here for as long as they want me. And I'll believe it or not, I love this quote. I'm not worried about where I'm going to be playing. I just want to play ball, and I want to help my team win, and I want to help the young guys. Well, thankfully, the Warriors have plenty of young guys that can use the presence of somebody like Jerami Grant. I think he would be a great addition into Steph Curry. Is he as flashy as a Siakam name? No, but I do think he can immediately come in and make some damage happen. So overall, when I see a quote like that, I'm not worried about it. Siakam didn't want the Warriors. He had a very large say in where he was going to go. Jerami Grant just wants to play some ball, and if he comes to the Bay Area, I think he could be a really good addition there with Steph Curry because he's been having a fantastic season through 35 games so far. He's played 35. He's averaging nearly 22 points. His assists are fine when you're going to have Chris Paul come back. His rebounds per game are all right. I think of him more as a shooting guard, so his rebounds don't need to be that crazy. 45% is phenomenal. 41% from the three-point line is even better. Jerami Grant is a promising secondary scorer for the Golden State Warriors, and I think he is a fresh face that can come in, take some pressure off Klay Thompson. This will really allow Klay Thompson to truly get out of his rut, even though we've seen ebb and flow the entire season, and you don't have to give up too much. Unfortunately, Jerami Grant is a little bit more expensive than somebody like Kyle Kuzma, so you will have to give up either Brandon Podziemski, a Moses Moody, or maybe a couple first-round draft picks just to see what the Trailblazers would actually want. So this one does break my heart a little bit more. I'd rather not give up Moses Moody, but if that means the future of the Warriors is a little bit more sustained, you're going to have to go with that. Overall, how do you guys feel about this? This is a Wiggins trade with the Blazers, but it does include Moses Moody, so that may affect your scale here. But go ahead and grade this trade with the Portland Trailblazers. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you guys feel. If you do not want to trade Moody, let me know down in the comments along with your grade for that trade. The final one is Mr. Bruce Brown. And I do feel bad for Bruce Brown. This man, and as much as you can for somebody getting paid millions of dollars a year. But he has been tossed around multiple teams in the past few years. But why? He's a great role player. He is the most consistent utility player I have seen in the NBA. And the Raptors have made some serious moves, which is why I think a very short conversation with Dunleavy could get Bruce Brown to the Warriors, because the Raptors look like they are ready to send everybody they have on a ship to another team. The Chicago Bulls have been talking for months about possibly rebuilding the way the Raptors have. The Raptors are actually making moves. And the Warriors desperately need defensive help, especially with Gary Payton II, who was out after 2 big injuries this season. And look, even when GP2 comes back, he's going to be great, but I don't know how healthy he's going to be. I think of Bruce Brown a lot like Gary Payton II in terms of defensive aspects. But what's even better is that Bruce Brown averages about 12 points per game, which is about a point shy of where JK and Andrew Wiggins are averaging right now as well. He's a little bit more consistent on the offensive side, and I think Bruce Brown could bring some life into the Warriors' defense. So, the beauty is this: Andrew Wiggins only has to go, pending some draft picks or whatever the Toronto Raptors do want, but this would be sweet. To get Bruce Brown, I understand it's a shooting guard. I understand the Warriors need size, but you got to take help where you can get it. Bruce Brown comes to the Warriors. Andrew Wiggins gets shipped up to Canada, and that is that. So let's take a look at what Bruce Brown will be bringing to the Golden State Warriors. Like I said, 12 points per game. Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga are about 13 points per game right now. His assists, 3.0. They're not Chris Paul numbers, but they do well. 48% from the field. I'll absolutely take that. 32% from the three-point line. Hasn't really been his game. Like I said, Bruce Brown makes more of his statement on defense, off the box score. So I just proposed 3 trades that can immediately help the Warriors this season. Now it's your turn. Go on ahead and pick which trade you guys like the best. If you want Kyle Kuzma to be a Golden State Warrior, type KK. If you want Jerami Grant to be a Golden State Warrior, type JG. If you want Bruce Brown to be a Golden State Warrior, type BB in the comment section below. Let me know where your head's at. I know you guys want some size, so I think I know what most of you are going to pick. But nonetheless, your opinion matters the most to me. And if you guys did enjoy this video, do not forget to hit that like button for me. We are close to the February 8th trade deadline, so I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos about trade rumors around the Golden State Warriors. So all you guys have to do to be in the know is hit that like button.